Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is free right now, and yes, you can keep it forever. So if you're on PlayStation, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, it doesn't matter which one, it's actually the cross-gen bundle. So even if you only have a PlayStation 4 right now and you redeem it on there, you can use it on the PlayStation 5 if you get one down the line. All you need is a PlayStation Plus Essential subscription, and as long as you have that, you can go and get Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for free on either PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, and that's it. You can keep it forever. For me personally, I've already had the game on all the various platforms for a couple of years at this point. However, I had the physical version of Black Ops Cold War for PlayStation, so I was able to redeem it. So now I'm able to play it digitally, so, you know, I don't have to get up to Switch disc or anything like that. I could just click a button and boom, I'm in the game. But in terms of actual cost, yeah, it doesn't really save me anything, because I dumped $100 on the pre-order for the Xbox edition, and then I got it for $60 physically on PlayStation 4, and then I also paid $60 to get it on PC. I really love Black Ops Cold War, if you couldn't tell. But anyway, with that out of the way, yeah, I know that was the title of the video, but I just really wanted people to know that, because I know there's a lot of my viewers that have been like, hey, you know, I really want to dive into Cold War. Is it worth it? And at the cost of literally free, yeah, it's more than worth it. But anyway, today we are here playing some Cold War Zombies. I have been dying to make a video on this for you guys. For those of you that don't know, I used to make a lot of Cold War content back in the day when the game first came out, whether it be on multiplayer or zombies. The majority of my content focused around like grinding camos, and as you can see right here, not only do we have Dark Aether, but I also did end up unlocking DM Ultra back in the day. I say back in the day, but I mean, it wasn't even that long ago, right? It was like a whole 2 years. Oh my god, it's been 2 years. Black Ops Cold War came out at the end of 2012. Oh no, it's almost been 3 years. I'm literally fossilizing before my own eyes. They added a lot of features after Cold War's like main life cycle was over, so one of them being this Rampage Inducer, which obviously makes the zombies a bit more aggressive. However, it does help the early rounds pass a lot faster. I always use it on Call of Duty Vanguard, however, I don't find myself using it too often on Cold War just because the zombies on Cold War are so much more aggressive when you activate it. However, I do like turning it on, at least for the first, like, I don't know, like 6 rounds or so, just to kind of help the rounds pass just a bit faster. If you're wondering how my weapon is a blue rarity already, even though the game just started, no, I am not hacking. For those of you that don't know, there was a super Easter egg that they added after Cold War's like main life cycle was over, where basically, depending on the number of Easter eggs you completed, you're able to activate all the podiums. Now, for me personally, I did go through and complete each of the Easter eggs. However, for some reason, my account is like bugged, and my Outbreak one didn't end up counting. Outbreak, the first Outbreak Easter egg where you fight Legion, and this is why I never used the Rampage Inducer. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna finish out this round, and then I'm probably gonna turn that Rampage Inducer off, because I don't want a game over on like round 10 or something like that. I also just realized that, you know, you have the map up there, you have the round counter over there. Normally, I would either put my face cam in the top left or the top right, but dude, for this game, I'm gonna have to like put it in a really weird spot. Like back when I used to make Cold War videos, I'm pretty sure I still just put it in the top right or the top left anyway, but now that I'm like, you know, a more professional YouTuber and I actually know what I'm doing, I mean, I guess the map really doesn't matter, so I could put it up there, but I mean, it's still a rather important HUD element, so yeah, I guess I'll have to put it in like the bottom there between the map and the points. That's gonna look so weird. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, the map really isn't that important. I don't want you guys to have to deal with that really weird face cam angle, so you know what? We're just gonna leave it in the top left. It's funny, in Cold War Zombies, I ended up like never hitting the mystery box. Like, it's here, it's a thing, it exists in the game, but it's just, I never really felt the need to use it, because there's always really easy quests to obtain the wonder weapons, and even if you don't know how to do the quest for whatever reason, I mean, it's so easy to just rely on RNG and do the trials for them. That's how I end up getting the wonder weapons most of the time anyway. I end up doing the trials, and then as I'm doing the quest for the main wonder weapon, I end up like unlocking it through the trials, and I'm like, oh well, there I go. I've said it many times at this point, but Cold War will always be one of my all-time favorite Call of Duties, and I'm pretty sure it's the last like arcadey feeling Call of Duty that we're ever gonna get to, which honestly makes me really sad. When I say arcadey, I mean like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 1, like the way that those games just feel to play, like they feel pretty arcadey, and something tells me that Black Ops Cold War is going to be the last Call of Duty that we get in that fashion, and that just makes me sad. Don't get me wrong, I love the new Call of Duties, I love how they feel, but like it's going to get to a point where I feel like all of the Call of Duties might just start to feel the same, you know what I mean? Like if they all use that same engine, like MW 2019 and Vanguard feel pretty similar, and MW2, it kind of feels like MW 2019, but it does feel a little different, to be fair, when you're playing it. But I don't know, call me a boomer, call me old, whatever, I have a bias for this classic feel of Call of Duty, that real arcadey feel. Like while Cold War did have some of the more modern elements, like with the gunsmith and just different stuff like that, in terms of the core gameplay and the engine and the way it feels to play, like this is classic Call of Duty for the most part. Yes, the most underutilized part of not even Cold War Zombies, but also Vanguard Zombies, the Dark Aether. I remember being so hyped up for this when I saw the trailers, and man, it's still such a cool concept, like going into the Dark Aether, but unfortunately outside of the main Easter egg, and even in, I mean, like in the main Easter egg, you do go to the Dark Aether a decent bit, bit and you interact with it a decent bit, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been utilized a bit more throughout the entirety of Cold War Zombies, because after this map, we don't really interact with the Dark Ether, really. Like, you have like that one moment in the Forsaken Easter egg where you kind of interact with the Dark Ether a little bit, but it was definitely pretty underutilized for the most part. Honestly, if I could, I would just play D Machine in Dark Ether mode from time to time, if I'm gonna be honest, man. It's so cool. You got like the jellyfish swimming around in the sky and all the other like, crystals and other visual effects you got going in the Dark Ether. It's so cool. Well, at this point, normally I'd come over here and upgrade my weapons, but since we're already at a blue, I guess I'll just upgrade my armor. No, I'm out of ammo. Thankfully, it's a play count round, so I will be able to get my ammo back here soon. I love all the various upgrades that Cold War had. Like, I honestly forget that that was even a feature in this game, just because I finished upgrading all of my stuff back during Cold War's life cycle, so I haven't had to worry about it in almost like 2 years now. But it was so cool having all those different things that you could like upgrade between the melee ability, switching it from hitting them with the butt of your gun to being like a literal Bowie knife, and upgrading the perks. I know some people aren't so hot on it, and a lot of people do prefer in-game progression, but I kind of like a blend of the two. Like, I kind of like how Black Ops 3 did it. There was like a blend of in-game and out-of-game progression. You had your levels that you could level up. You could go through the prestiges. You could level up your weapons. You had like the gobblegums you could set. But other than that, most of your progression was done in-game, whereas Cold War, a lot of the progression and stuff that you did was done out of the game, and honestly, a lot of the stuff was essential to making a lot of the in-game features and mechanics even viable in the first place. So like, a lot of the perks are honestly kind of almost useless if you don't have the upgrades done for them. But again, personally, I don't really mind it, because I do like that kind of progression where it's like you're achieving something in-game, that being like the crystals and stuff, then you can use it to unlock better abilities and all that. Vanguard did a pretty decent job at blending the two. Like, you had like the perk upgrades that you could do inside of the game, though I must admit it was a little cumbersome anytime you went down having to run around the entire map and buy back all of your perk upgrades, especially if you ended up going down multiple times and you just had to stand there buying the same perk like multiple times over and over again. It wasn't that big of a hindrance, but it was enough to kind of be like, oh god, I gotta run around the map and buy all my perks again. You know what? I never get the Die Shockwave, but considering the fact that I'm making a video on it, I might as well. That's another game I'll defend to the day I die. I don't care what anybody says. I love Vanguard Zombies. You don't have to. Everybody has their own opinions. But for me personally, I have a lot of fun with that game. I absolutely adore Vanguard and Vanguard Zombies. The internet's a crazy place, man. I shouldn't have to explain the philosophy of everybody having their own opinion. That should just be like common knowledge, but apparently it isn't. Everybody has to be a hive mind with the exact same opinions, or else, you know, anybody who differs is wrong. If I'm gonna be honest, this was a pretty cool way to unlock a wonder weapon. Having them all get sucked up inside the closet right there, that's still so cool to me. Now, this might be a bad idea, but I'm gonna try turning on the Rampage Inducer again. I have some better weapons now, and we're about to get the Die Shockwave, so I think we'll be alright. Hey, quit sleeping on the job. I don't want to talk about it. I knew I shouldn't have turned the Rampage Inducer. Why did I do that? I remember when this game first launched and all we had on the side here was D Machine, D Machine Private, and D Machine Solo. And now it's just, like, it's just, there's so much content in this game. Onslaught was such an underrated mode. Look, dude, they still have all these, like, cool game modes in here, like Cranked 2. Oh, man, I loved Cranked. Outbreak was honestly a lot of fun. Outbreak Survival, I forgot about this. Yeah, you start out with, like, it was basically, like, the classic Zombies experience. You just start out with a 1911, barely any of the HUD stuff was active. Dead Ops Arcade 3. Man, yeah, this game was honestly just, I mean, it's still great. But anyways, yeah, if you have a PlayStation, whether it be PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, make sure that you redeem this, because, I mean, not only is it a free game, but it's a free Call of Duty, and it's a really good Call of Duty at that. And in my humble opinion, it's one of my favorite Call of Duties. Anyway, as always, a massive shout out and thank you to all the patrons, thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, and an even bigger shout out and thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Mellow Last King, and Big Daddy Matty, and the biggest shout out and thank you of all to all of you in the G tier, Ryan Vengeance, and Little Cheese Girl. Thank you guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.